Oh, Artemy. Oh boy. What state have I left you in from last time? Alright, so it's almost midnight. Health is very low, exhaustion's very high. Let's try to deal with that. I don't think I really need hunting segments that much. Dear lord. I think I got more kills yesterday during the day than I have during any of the nights. If I ever get a reputation problem again, it'll necessitate itself, but at this point, I have to deal with, like... Oh my god. We're gonna have a trading segment, I think, at the very least. Drugs... I already have Meridorm in here. Okay, so drugs... Click, click, click. Let's put that one away. Alright, nothing's gonna kill me in my sleep, right? Hunger is a little high, but not that high, but I can fix that regardless. Bread. Okay, let's do, like, 4 hours. Health's going up, exhaustion's going down. Down with the exhaustion tyranny. And my midnight letter is coming in.
Efforts allowed your supporters to remain unharmed.
A new mime performance is being rehearsed at the theater. Alright, so it's almost 4 o'clock in the morning. Immunity is high-ish, hunger is middle, exhaustion's negative, or 0. Low infection. It's not amazing, but it's there. Let's eat the cracker, because it's there, and get out of my inventory. I gotta do some trading. Go do some trading, huh? I'll also read that letter in a second. But yeah, I got... Oh. Oh, the time has come. Okay. Well now. That's an eventful little cutscene. Catches me by surprise every time. Okay, let's try to get to... I could visit my neighbor over there. I might as well. And while I'm going on these treks, I can give you guys a fun little story about what happened. I played the Pathologic tabletop game with a group of 4 people. Yeah, it's a tabletop game. I had to order it from Russia, and you have to specify, like, I would like the English one, please. Which they still sell from Russia. And then you get a package in the mail, like 2 or 3 weeks later, that has a hilarious amount of stamps on it. Because I guess Russian Post has a thing where, like, they just don't have larger stamps, or like an international stamp, or anything like that. Here in the United States, the way that I'm used to is that, among other, like, there's stamps that refer to specific coinage values, but there's also, like, the forever stamp, which is just a stamp that universally is just one stamp for one letter, basically. And there's also the international, I think there's an international stamp where you just literally have, like, a sticker that you put on it, and that's for international shipping, and it just takes care of it right there. I think that's just straight up a thing. I've only had to ship internationally, like, a couple of times ever, so could be completely wrong about some of that stuff. Just gonna be clear about that. Clicking. Never black. I mean, yes, black, just not bloody. Yeah. Get that brown and get that black. It's not enough. Alright. More clicking. This is gonna take a while. Alright. So what happened is when I was playing the game, it's a game where it's weird, it's a stealth game of sorts. It's a tabletop game that it was just new and different, that nobody was really that familiar with at the table. What happens is, the 3 of us, oops. See, I need to decrease by 1. So, add one of you, decrease you, there we go. Boom, got a bunch of that stuff. and left the bloody, because I can just get more nice stuff from the other places instead. Alright, so now I gotta walk all the way across this landscape. I'll go get the map here and go to there. We'll just keep going. And maybe I'll spot plants along the way, otherwise we're gonna look at this bobbing landscape for a while. So the three players play as the 3 playable doctors from Pathologic, the video game. Pretty straightforward there. You have the Bachelor, the Haruspex, and the Changeling. The 4th player plays as the Plague. And it's a stealth game, so the people don't know where the plague is. It's just spreading and causing bad things to happen as it moves around the map. Your goal as the doctors is to do exactly what you do during the actual campaign of this game, which is you scramble around the map trying to complete objectives for the purpose of gathering evidence. I don't know what Clara's campaign is like, but so far the Haruspex and Bachelor campaigns are very much that. And that you're just running around the map like a lunatic every single day during the 24-hour cycle, trying to do all the quests you can, managing any resources you can to do it. And if you can't do the main quest, then one of your bound will do it for you. Like, all those mechanics are actually built into that, more or less, in somewhat interesting ways. But yeah, what happens is there will be 4 public objectives that are drawn at a time. There's a deck, and the deck has a card for every one of these locations. All the named ones we've had, like I know now this is the gut, and like this is the spine, and other stuff like that. It's still hard to keep the names straight, but all the names that are in this game for the locations, the ones that are referred to by NPCs but aren't really shown on the map or used that directly, those kinds of names, they're all represented in that board. The board just shows them explicitly. There's a bunch of all the districts are circled on the map to very clearly show you where they're all located and what they're all called. So it's really helpful for somebody who has been playing this game all this time and has not known for sure what to call some of the stuff. That was interesting. But yeah, there's a deck that has 1 card for every... Oops. Get rid of that real quick. Sorry, dude. They had to die. That was a miss. Damn it. What? I guess he hit me at the same time. The stealth attacks are a little frustrating in this game because they comically turn around instantly and start fighting you before you can even back away. So I'm trying to like lead the backstab so that I can get away from him, so that I can escape the follow-up attack. But that just leads to me missing the backstab or failing and getting hit anyway. So backstabs haven't really proven to be useful so far necessarily, because it puts me in a crouching position that makes it really hard for me to follow up on the attack by evading it all. This is my better knife. And like, if I can't evade the follow-up attack, then it's just not the best. Oh shit, that's probably what killed me. Interesting. Okay, I'm dead. God damn. Alright. Good to know. Yeah, we're gonna have to stall the discussion for a bit while I deal with intensive combat scenario. 2 rats and 2 looters. One of them's a fake out to get me. I don't even know where the other rat came from. Organs. More organs to trade. Hey there. No rats. Ow. God damn, you got range. Okay, come on. The combat drives me crazy sometimes. I'm just gonna have to go buy some more medicine at this point. I don't like paying for the... Fuck! You guys are here too, huh? That's the right tab, that one. Is he not coming this way? He's just wandering around. Does he even see me? Yes, he does. Look! You gonna knife me? You gonna knife me? Come on. Come on. Now. Part of me is like, oh wow, that's a lot of meat. Okay, yeah, these, that was a sentence. Part of me is like, oh wow, that's a lot of meat. That's a hell of a sentence. It's definitely like, I feel like if I see enemies, I should deal with them because of the whole, they literally represent resources, but, maybe there's a limit on how much I should deal with at some point. Maybe I really should just run away and move on with my life.
Something's...
Come here for the map. Oh. Let's see. The goods are getting more expensive by the day. We had the Inquisitor's representatives come here recently, shook hands and all. They said we were doing a good thing, encouraged us to do more, paid nothing. How's that fair? What do you need money for anyway? You think map making's easy? My scouts are dying like flies. The ones the disease doesn't get, a marauder's knife does. Will you let me have a look? Everyone's looking, no one's buying. How about I set a price at 2,000 as a reality check for you? Here you go, you rip-offs. Wow, jumping the price up, huh? There were 1,000 a day at the other location in the previous game, in the previous campaign. He charged me like 500 before. Well, I think it might have been like 1,000, then 500, then 2,000. So it's actually a net loss, isn't it? It's close overall. Meat for oh, those are just one each. That's not going to be enough. Nope. I don't have nearly as many. I feel like I've been through a war, but that has not actually amounted to the number of items I would kind of imagine. All right. Should I go to the theater? Could zigzag around. I'm not that far from the theater if I just want to go there right now. It's just I'm trying to get to the traders down there. Let's go to the theater. Don't want to miss the mime performance. And the traders will still be traders after 7 o'clock, whereas the mime performance goes away. So this area is going to be... Oh, this area is clear now, but the theater is going to be plague. So watch out for that. Artemy. He who does not have, unfortunately, that very nice plague finder that could see this stuff at a distance. But yeah, in the board game, there's a deck that has every location in it. One unique card for each location, and each one's a unique quest. And basically that event pops up, and then the event has an effect, and you can only resolve it by doing a certain thing. It's basically just a resource, because it's a tabletop game, so that what's required to finish an event's often really basic, like pay a resource, and that's what it is in this game. It has a unique thing, which is that all the, there's nine of the townspeople of this game are in this game. There's the 3 doctors, and there's 9 of the characters from this game. A lot of them are missing, because it'd be overwhelming otherwise. But, there's in 3 sets of 3, one of each of the 3... there's 3 for each of us. That's like, because like even the mechanic of the bound is in that game. So like there's 3 townspeople for the changeling, 3 for the Haruspex, and 3 for the bachelor. So this gets chaotic. Is that rat not after me? I'm gonna need that pistol. Pull that out. I pressed reload first. Apparently you can reload it while you're not using it directly. That's interesting. On top of having a matching... let's not deal with plague organs right now. On top of having one... Oh. Was that one chasing me, or was that just the stationary one fading away? This would be a bad time for... No! We're all clear on the fact that this game's an asshole, right? You... I just wanted to shoot that guy. Why am I doing this? Go away. God, 2 in one place, huh? Gotcha. First shot. Wow. Lucky of me that he didn't come after me during that entire ordeal. That could have been bad for me. Don't have any bottles. I grabbed his organs, right? That's kind of vital. Vital organs. That's a lot of drugs, and none of them are bandages. The only one that I want, you asshole. That's all I want is bandages, and you didn't give me any. Pump up that immunity. The health is at 0 basically now. Great. It's cool. It's just the beginning of the day. I'm sure there won't be any negative consequences for being almost dead already. Let's just get in there. Huh.
Someone could have ended up at that stake today. I was lucky to escape execution. Bachelor was noble enough to let me go.
Unbelievable. Sanpes is not a person. It's been proven. But who is the source? It's not the girl. That much is obvious.
You can escape everyone, even the Inquisitor's vengeful hand. But you can't escape yourself. The Earth Sister is breathing down your neck.
What shall we do?
It feels like the whole world is against me. I can't get this noose off. Is execution unavoidable?
Calm down.
Stop moaning.
You can remain a tool or become a rebel. The choice is yours. Men struggle in nooses, but puppets walk free.
Definitely feels like it came surprisingly fast. Or faster than before. But we're halfway through the campaign.
She made an example of murderers and madmen. That was merely an overture. The game itself is yet to begin.
You crazy ass man. Keeps repeating that sound. It's gonna happen again, probably out here. Let's not do the full lap right now. My interest in bottles, actually, well, bottles are great, actually. I should probably do the lab, actually. Oh well, let's get to the trading and whatnot. I'm trying to get the morning stuff done before the letters come in, which is usually 7 o'clock in the morning. So I'm trying to do all the trading first. At which point I might take a trip all the way back to my base again to at least dump off the herbs, which will be in large supply at that point. I pretty much have just resigned to the fact that this episode's going to be a clusterfuck of me trying to explain the board game while also trying to do morning tasks, but that's fine. It's just a fun new thing to set this one apart from all the others, or some nonsense like that. That's a bad zone. Let's just not walk that way. Well, yeah, the game's really interesting in how it systemizes a huge number of things directly from... Are they fighting each other? No, they aggroed on somebody else. I'll save you! Fuck that guy. Fuck. Got that guy. Alright, little ammo wasteful, but you know, satisfying to just shoot everybody sometimes. But yeah, they actually put the bound in the game. And interestingly, what they also implemented from the bound as a concept, that he doesn't have organs? Or, oh, I hadn't looted him yet. Okay, I was wrong about who I was looting. Much like the bound or handled in this game, they're not unique to the person who they're for. So like, the Bachelor will interact with the changelings bound and so on, and that's all actually in the board game. Anybody can order around any of the characters to do things. The most you can do is you have a token you can put on one of the characters at any given time, but only one of them, and you can move it from one to another during your turn. It's like an oath with that specific character. I'm gonna get a lot of the words wrong, because like they're not called the bound, they're called wards, and others, like all the words are different in the board game compared to this game. The board game might be older than the retranslation, or it might just be inconsistencies in general. There's typos and missing words in the instruction manual. It's a little sloppy, but it's interesting. So anyone can order around any of the townspeople to do things, and in fact you're incentivized to do so because they are scattered all around the map and closer to the objectives and so on, and everyone has a movement speed. You get every turn you get one healer action. Well, you get 2 actions you can take, and any one character can only move once as your action. So you can't give multiple commands to different characters. I mean, you can't give multiple commands to the same character. And so that includes your healer. You can give your healer one move, and then one of the wards one move, and it can be any of the ones that it isn't specifically being locked down by one of the other players. So at any given time, up to 3 of the characters can be locked down, but that remains 6 other ones that aren't, plus or minus, you know, the dead and whatnot. But it gets really interesting with the way that you win as a healer is actually that you try to complete objectives, much like in this game, like the way you'll run off to do like, oh, go get 50, like how I go off and get 50 tablets to give to that girl so I can go sacrifice a cow, like those kinds of things. It'll just be a resource. Like it's the objectives themselves are really simple. You just hand over a resource real quick, that kind of stuff, so it's not that big of a deal. But what's interesting is that everybody has a really limited movement speed of like 2 districts per turn, and you're competing to get the objectives done, because much like this game, all of the healers are at odds with each other and don't get along with each other, and they all think that they're the only ones that can save the world, and everybody and they think that everybody else is dooming us with their bad ideas, so they're trying to rush out and complete objectives directly in spite of everybody else, which I find really interesting. Like that's all built into the this particular interpretation of the game. And so your objective is just to get to the objective, hand in the resource you need to complete the objective, and then get the reward. The reward is evidence. And what gets interesting is that they have a really specific system here where if you use any random ward to complete an objective, you get 1 evidence. If you use your healer, that's your playable character nobody else can control, then you get 1 evidence. If you use one of your bound, one of the 3 wards that are specific to your character, even though other people can command them around too, if you use yours, you get 2 evidence. And that creates all sorts of different things you have to do. Like, you want to use your little token to lock that character down, probably, because otherwise other characters could use the same character to complete the objective instead, and stuff like that, and then get the evidence for themselves. Even the Inquisitor will not help you defeat this enemy. It all ends in less than 6 days. Oh, I forgot to read my nightly letter from my dad that admittedly is kind of gibberishy. Fateful, which is to say crucial and life-changing for the Haruspex. Day 7. Today's a big deal, evidently. Let's try to buy all of these if I can. So it's a really bizarre game where you're fighting over all of the NPCs simultaneously in a mad scramble to get objectives done in spite of each other, all while a disease is killing all of you. It's a real weird experience. The person who plays the disease has a notebook where they write down their current location and all of their activities, because they can't do it on the board, because then people would know where they are exactly and be able to like act against them and stuff like that. It's all a real weird experience. Alright, well that's all the really cool stuff. Wow. I still have more organs for the next day, including 100 blood. I bit into a lot of it, but it's still like I got 5 white whip, 10 sperry, 26 black twire, 25 brown, I'm not even really using this stuff that much. I'm just hoping it'll matter a lot later. Let's read the letter. Pretty sure I read this already, right? Yeah. Isadora Brooks' Diaries, extract on inevitability, page 27, yeah, page 29. She is coming toward me with celerity greater than the howling wind. She gathers her brittle fingers together as she goes. She braids her intricate bones and breaks her lissom limbs. There are no eyes on her black face, and her white face has no nose. The two of her heads are ever in conflict. This is what the tale says. I will do what has to be done before her shabnak rises up from beneath the ground. B is the one who must survive. Whatever the cost, enough gruel must be made for his enormous body to be fed. His enormous body? Huh. Here's where we get to figure out whether or not they're talking in allegory and legends or literal things or both, because this is a universe where both mix together all the time. It's 7 o'clock. I'm gonna go towards the Bachelor's place. I don't have any objectives yet, but we have been doing something with the Bachelor every single day, and we even just finished a thing last night. And so it seems like I might literally get a letter from the Bachelor on my walk there, basically, now that the day is starting. That's the hope. So when I was talking about the combinations of characters, 3 of them work for each character, but also each of those 3 are broken into 3 categories based on a resource type. So there's I think it's a secret and it's represented by like I can't remember what they are. There was a key, there was a letter, and there was another item, which are the 3 resource types of the game. Where things get interesting is that if you get a character, if you get one of the wards to go to a particular objective and they are the same resource type as that objective, they can instantly complete it with no additional cost. Like if the objective requires a key and they are a key character, then they just do it. And it speaks to the difference in power and influence that each character in this game has in different fields of the game, and how certain characters can resolve certain problems. So it's really interestingly complicated, but surprisingly straightforward once you start playing. As far as the, I should just get this out right now. As far as the plague itself goes, they're invisible. They're writing down their locations in the notebook. What happens is that they just keep moving around every turn, and their goal is to kill the wards and essentially wiping out the city. They pre-select a hit list of 3 wards they have to kill out of the 9, and they set those cards aside. They have like a deck of all the characters, and every time they kill any ward, they will show whether or not that character was on the hit list or not, and they'll fill in these 3 tombs with the ward's deaths as they successfully take them out, if they're successful. That's more or less the gist of that system. More or less the thing, yeah. So if they take out all 3 of those characters, they win the game. That's what happened for us. The plague one is a little disappointing. Lots of squabbling, lots of moments of like, if you would just not lock down that character, I could have won the game. It's like, yeah, but I want to win the game. There's definitely an amount of like, for the game to make the most sense, I think you have to kind of roleplay. I don't know. The mechanics incentivize you role-playing the same way that these characters are played in the game. There's a combination of pettiness, where it's like, no, they're bullshit, I'm right, we have to do it my way, or else. So while we were playing, what we quickly realized is because you only win if you win, you don't win, like, you as the healer, you don't win if the healers win. You win if you win. There's even 3 different types of evidence on a score tracker, and each of you is getting that type of evidence and building that type of evidence up, which is completely separate from everybody else's kind of evidence. And you only win if your individual character wins, not just if the healers beat the plague, which I find really interesting, because it means that you get mechanically behavior from the players, and this was true of our very first game, which we've only played once so far, where we were just we were getting in each other's way constantly, intentionally, not just haphazardly or anything. We were specifically hobbling each other on a regular basis because we wanted to win, and that was putting us constantly at risk of losing to the plague and so on. And there was definitely a moment, like shockingly early in the game, where Burrock could have won, but I, as the changeling, completely fucked over that plan because that would have let Burrock win and not me, and so on. That kind of stuff was happening a lot, and it goes all over the place. And it's really messy and weird. As far as the there's even a quarantine mechanic. Every character is either in quarantine or not in quarantine. Everyone starts in the game in quarantine, and you have to spend a turn on a character to take them out of quarantine. If they're in quarantine, they're very hard to kill. They're very hard for the plague to kill. The plague has to like make a huge event out of destroying that specific location, and they have to spend several turns locking it down while making it very clear that that's where they're currently located. It's kind of like the equivalent of like the termitary being wiped out is basically how the plague has to kill a quarantined character. But a non-quarantined character can be killed in one turn. If the plague just happens to get to them, they can just wipe out that player very easily, actually. The healers cannot die. They just go back into quarantine if they get wiped out, but every single ward dies permanently if they get hit by the plague. And that's a problem, obviously. So it's a race against time. You're trying to complete enough objectives to get enough evidence to win, which can be shockingly quick, because you start off at 3, you lose 1 for every ward that's one of your guys that dies, but you gain 1 or 2 for every objective you do, 2 being when you use one of your wards to do it. That's specific to you. And if you get to 8, you win instantly. That's like going from 3 to 8. That's only 5 points you have to get as net positive, but that was a trip too far for us. Because every time, on top of walking around the map invisibly and murdering people and stuff, every time you draw an objective card and play it to see what the next objectives are, of which there are 4 total on the map, and then you stop drawing more until you complete some of those, then once you've completed them, somebody else draws a new one. The plague is drawing strain cards, which I kept calling stain cards, because you leave them behind like a stain. But as the plague's invisibly walking around the map, they can place these things that are they're essentially like trap cards, like in Yu-Gi-Oh or whatever, and they can put them directly on the path of where you're trying to go and just block you. And if you go there, you're gonna be facing the side effects of the strain itself. And whatever they placed there, and so they're hobbling you more and more. And it's just it's an interesting game. I can't tell if it's good yet. It actually has that similar quality to Pathologic itself, where I'm like, this is interesting and unusual and unique, and I can't tell if the mechanics actually make sense and are balanced well together and ultimately do a good job at being a game necessarily, but it's got a narrative and a theme and a setting and those kinds of structures, and that all works in a way that's surprising. As far as the healers themselves, they're identical for the most part, but you have a deck of cards called prescriptions, and those are unique to each of the 3 healers. And so you essentially have unique action cards you can use very occasionally that are completely unique to your character. You draw them whenever you complete an objective and whenever one of your wards dies. So you don't get a lot of them. But yeah, that's the short of it. I just stopped to explain it because I wanted to get at least in the first episode of this session. Sorry if that was a clusterfuck, but I thought people would be interested. I'm significantly less worried about boring you guys at this point, because the people who get bored left 60 episodes ago. That's very fitting, right?
Sorry, but I have to get back to work.
No, didn't you invite me here? Actually, I didn't check, did I? I really should have read your letter. Shit. It was probably about the Inquisitor, to be fair. I was just so certain he was going to send me a letter because he just does. And it's, 7 AM. As far as the game itself goes, like, will I ever get to show it? I would like to make a video or stream it someday. I don't know if it'll work. We've only ever done tabletop sessions that are recorded for Twilight Imperium. It's a real ordeal to set up lighting and try to figure out how to film it and so on. I don't know, but I'd like to, because it fits into a game I'm playing right now. I also like to do a playthrough of Bloodborne, but unfortunately I don't think anybody else likes the Bloodborne tabletop game. I think I'm the only one that was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. Well, seems like it's time to say our goodbyes. I don't know if we will ever see each other again, Barak. Both of us have failed. You failed to produce a panacea. I, too, have nothing to appease the Inquisitor with. And for me, that's suicide. By going to the cathedral, I'm putting my head on the chopping block. What reason does the Inquisitor have to take your life? The Inquisitor has no power over me, although they do have power over everyone. They need not concern themselves with legal details. If they need to kill, you die. If they need you to go, you go. They know the ways, but that's not what I'm talking about. What are you talking about, then? I've made up my mind. If I am not to go back victorious, then I'd rather blow my brains out with this very revolver. I'm concerned. I'll never be able to look the people I've failed to protect in the eye. My allies will end up in prison or exile. My research in fire. So what is it that stands between you and your victory? I failed to find the source of the disease, and yet it keeps coming. From somewhere. There is a will behind this, but I failed to find the carrier. Moreover, it doesn't feel like that's a matter of time. It's like the carrier isn't human at all. Funny. I keep coming back to the same problem. Inhuman creatures often play human roles in our lives, wouldn't you agree? Oh, but you failed to find one. A hybrid of man and bull. Creatures of this kind inhabit myths rather than natural environments. They're not real. That was not the chimera I had in mind. Which one, then? If only I knew who my father had marked with the cursed sign. I need to go to the abattoir right now, to talk to the foreman. The abattoir is off limits. You won't get in there unless the Inquisitor lets you. It's the Inquisitor who's now in charge of fighting the epidemic, and everything else. I can do just fine without it. You're going to need their clearance for movement anyway. I advise you receive it sooner rather than later. If your ill fame precedes you, well... It won't be better if you came... It would be better if you came of your own volition. Outrun ugly rumors and let them know you're dissecting bodies for a reason. Will you come too? I will go there. Not with you, though. Go. I need some time to collect my thoughts. In Barak? I'm glad we haven't had time to become enemies. Good luck. Good luck to you, too, Oynen. We're gonna meet the Inquisitor. The Inquisitor has made the empty cathedral her headquarters. I should get there fast before the slanderers with their tips due. See, the bachelor's letter? Oh, that's a long one. Regrettably, artificial synthesis is not an option. The ingredients do not match. The only solution is to obtain a natural hybrid of man and bull. However, insofar as the creature does not exist, all we have left is to acknowledge the imperfection of the world and mourn the failure of our intentions. Sorrowfully, Daniel Dunkovsky. P.S. The P.S. is as long as the letter. Jesus Christ, dude. I'll have you know that my mission of identifying the disease carrier was likewise a fiasco. Apparently the creature I'm trying to catch does not exist either. A feeble consolation, I know, but perhaps it'll help you see how much I feel for you. You may want to hurry if you want to talk. The Inquisitor has summoned me for an interrogation. In all likelihood, this will be the last you ever see of me. There's no reason for that to be a PS. That's important, real letter stuff. It should have been that, and then sorrowfully Daniel Dunkovsky. Like, there's no reason for that to be a PS. Oh well. It's not really that big of a deal.
Should I just give up?
Do not despair. Perhaps you will find your bullman in the primal steppe after all. Or is it man-bull? I don't care. But yeah. Weird thing to hang up on. Gotta eat me some bread, because I'm constantly on the verge of starving to death. Not really, I have an absurd amount of food. At this point, I don't even know if I'm going to trade any of this meat for like, I was planning on trading the meat for drugs, but at this point, or not herbs, I mean, but at this point, like, I literally ran out of stuff to buy aside from the herb that I'm avoiding on purpose, because I don't think that's as efficient for synthesis. I will say, the game's making me brew stuff less than I expected. I kind of thought that there would just be more mechanical incentive for me to constantly be brewing things. It's the bad one. I am not paying 800 apiece for tourniquets. Come on, somebody's got to send bandages, sell bandages at the very least. I want some efficiency for my money usage here. I got a bottle. Attempts were made. But this place is plagued past this wall. Gotta watch out for any surprise angels and whatnot. But yeah, at the moment I'm just looking forward to playing the tabletop game again, and we'll see when that happens. The game was supposed to be 40 to 80 minutes long. It took us like 3 hours. Admittedly, there was a lot of rules clarification to figure out, because the rules were a little confusing. But also, we ended in a hilariously horrible way. I should explain that real quick. So this game's pretty nihilistic in a lot of ways, kind of. At least that's what I get from it at times. But nothing tops what happened in our game, which was the entirety of the town was dead aside from the 3 healers and and Sticky. And Sticky got stuck Sticky was just running laps around the town over and over again, trying to stay ahead of the plague as the plague chased him in circles indefinitely for a very long time, until eventually he succumbed because there was really no hope. It was just a dire ending. Where is she? Is she upstairs? Look who's here. Isn't it the Haruspex, the star comedian of the town? What have I done to deserve that? What, am I wrong? Just look how you're walking, or remember what you've been doing. As if you saw me. Who knows, who knows? Well, at least I'm the star comedian, and you're just a substitute. So, why have you come? I need to see the Inquisitor. I hereby inform you that Her Excellency has left to investigate the termitary since the emissaries have shown excessive fervor in dealing out a punishment. And also to investigate the site of the tragedy. And to make acquaintance with the young Mother Superior, of course. Makes sense? Alright, she's booked it to the other side of the town. Gives me an excuse to go there on the way there, so I can dump off my excessive amount of other items that I need to get rid of. I've got a lot of plants. I've got at least 4 on me right now, and that's not ideal. Yeah. Can I get upstairs? I just kind of want to check to see if there's anything going on up there. Apparently Lilich isn't here. Nope. I still find it weird there's 0 evidence of the suicide. Suicide or murder or whatever. Like, Eva Jan is dead. And there's no sign of her death anywhere in the game as far as I can tell. And that's just a weird feature. I just find that very odd. I'm not like all excited like, oh man, show me a body. But it's hard not to feel like it's just an underserved plot point if it doesn't show up at all, even when you physically visit the location it's supposed to be happening in. On some level, I guess. I don't know. I guess one thing is maybe the game could use more cutscenes. Let's see, I'm gonna double check, but I think, yeah, the Bachelor should have a new person downstairs, right? Because on some level, I admit that, like, it's weird when people just leave bodies around in a lot of games and stuff. Like, it makes sense to move the body. Oh, she's alive. You and the Inquisitor live at the same time right now? Oh, now I gotta double check the timeline of when you died before. I thought it was by now.
Clara did to the Saburos what they told her to do to criminals.
No, I don't remember. Did she die after the Inquisitor showed up? Or I thought she was found dead the day of or the day before. Maybe I'm misremembering though. It's hard to say. My goal is just to cut straight across. It'll be safer if I go further south. Not yet. But that's going through all the steps again. That's kind of a pain.